All right, so now let's get started. Let's start to create our block within section. Let's create some few scenario. So our block here, we can say, let me add a border so you can see how is it looking. So we have a border right here. So this is our block. So we can say we want to be able to add a color background, to be able to change the color backgrounds and etc. All of this rest here is going to be added as a block. So I will just add one setting just for you to see. If I go back to my theme editor here and you know what, let me remove this other section so that we don't get confused. Let me save it. So there you go. So let me try to make this a bit bigger. So when I click on FAQ right here, and as you can see, we have no settings input here at all. So we need to create one. So we need to go and add those settings inside our Shopify schema JSON. So I'm inside the FAQ.liquid. I'll scroll down. Let's start by adding our settings. So the first one, let's say I want to be able, just like we said earlier, to add a background color. So I'm going to add an object. So this object is going to represent one setting. So the type here, because we want to add a color, so we want to have a type called color. So you have three type possibility here. You can use color, you can use color background, or you can use color scheme if your website supports it. But at least in my case, I'm going to use color type. This is what Shopify is looking for. You cannot come and create your own type here. You're going to get an error. So then we're going to give it an ID. So the ID, you give it any name you wish. So I'm going to call mine FAQ BG for background. And we must give it a label. And again, this name is very up to you. So let's call it FAQ or simply background color like this. We can add a default when creating the color, and let's give it a default of a white color. So FFF 6 times or 3 times is up to you. And there you go. So when I save it and I go now, as you can see, there is nothing. If I reload, we're going to have a background color. This is our label. And then we have the color picker here. I can choose the color. But as you can see, it's not taking effect into our section. So we're going to add some couple of settings here for just the section, and then we can go and start to add the block within section. Okay, so let's make this color to be appearing into our section. So it's very simple. I will just grab the ID, go back on top, so we can create an inline style directly here. So I'm going to use background color, and then we need to access liquid. So the syntax, remember, is going to be section.settings. Okay, because again, we're accessing the settings here, and then the data of the ID, which is my case FAQ underscore BG. If I save it, I go back here, it's going to take effect. And it seems like something is wrong. Let me save it. I had to save it. There you go. So then we have the background is taking the red color. So you can go and specify your design. I will leave mine to be gray like this. And we can, you know what, maybe let's add some settings to decide if you want to display the border here or not. Again, I'm just playing with this design here. That's really up to you. I just want to show you how to create it, okay, and how to work with it. So let's add another object here. So let's call it checkbox, okay. So this checkbox is going to be a boolean. So let's give it an ID is FAQ border, and let's give it a label. We can say enable border, and let's give it some default of false like this, and we're going to save it. And if you go back to your code, to your theme editor, and as you can see, there is nothing. If I reload the page, we're going to have this enable border appearing here. Okay, it is set to false, so it's not toggled yet because we have false here. So now how to make it appearing to our section? So we can add it directly with the style here, because we want to be able to be sure that we're adding the block, the border or not. So you're gonna go with a condition like this. So we can say if we need to access our settings input. So if section.settings that is FAQ border, if it is true, let's close the if so that you don't get confused. and if, and I will make it to go a bit on the line so that you see what's going on. So if this is true, then we want now to use the border like this, and we're gonna say border is going to be 1 pixel solid, and then we can give it the black here. So this is just to add this CSS to the style here, okay? This is like one of the way in the case you're using CSS. If I save it, let me remove the border from our class here. So let me go, and if I reload the page, and if I also check here, you can see nothing is appearing. If I go to inspect our code, if I go check our style, we have background color, yes, but we have no border appearing here. So if I come back here and I toggle now, normally it should work. Go back here, let me reload the page. Okay, and there you go. So we have the border appearing, and if you check now our code, we have the border now sitting right here. We have border 1 pixel solid black. And there you go. So this is how you're gonna go and add like settings for your section. You can play with the height, you can play with the padding, you can play with whatever you want. Okay, so if you have no idea, go back to the documentation and start to read again about setting inputs and see how you can apply it here. All right, so now let's start to talk about how we can add this title, description, and this question and answer as a block within section.